No, thank you. Sleepy. Come back in an hour.
Need sleepy.
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God!
It's now time for the Billy C. Morning Show, part of the Billy C. Boxing Network. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
Good morning, everybody. We're coming to you live from the Billy C. Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C. Morning Show. Today's show is being brought to you in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant located in beautiful St. Simons Island, Georgia. If you're looking for the best Italian food around, look no further than Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant. Check out the website. You'll drool, I promise. www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com, or give my man a call, 912-268-2328. 912-268-2328. You know, it's funny, I was driving yesterday, and that number, the Sal's phone number kept popping in my mind. I'm saying 912-268-2328. You know, I mean, it's like embedded. It's like a tattoo. Give him a call. Mention this show and order something to go, and he'll throw you a cannoli. Sal'sNeighborhoodPizzeria.com. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by JKJ Boxing Magazine. It's the new magazine that's out. That's for free. That's right. You can subscribe to it for free. You can download a copy right now, or you can pay postage and have it delivered to your door. But either way, the magazine is for free. For all information, visit our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the JKJ Boxing Magazine cover, which is right there on the right-hand side. And by the way, you'll be seeing a new magazine cover because the new issue is due out in, I think, another week or so. So today's show is also being brought to you in part by my book, of course. If you don't have 4 or 5 copies laying around, there should be a copy on every one of your tables in your house. If you don't have one, get yourself one. You can get a copy of my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, where all good books are sold, including getting it right now, this moment. Right now. BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com. Find out why we got a 5-star rating across the board. It's a great read for everyone, not just boxing fans. If you're looking to get a signed copy, don't forget that I'm going to be up at the Hall of Fame this year, and I will be selling it and signing it for a discount price. Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet. Today I got an email to read. I'm going to try and open up the phone lines here in a little bit. We are doing a show tomorrow, but we might get a little crazy today and tomorrow with the format of the show. My big question today is, you know, Mayweather versus Pacquiao, the rematch, Pacquiao Mayweather II, if you will. To me, it makes sense. I called it when it first happened, when the first fight happened and the result happened. And everybody, you know, I remember somebody saying, actually it was my man Alex the other day saying, oh, well, you know, the repercussions and, you know, people gave up on boxing because of that fight. I'm saying to myself, well, why? You know, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather are still the 2 biggest names in the sport today, even though they're both retired. I think the rematch makes sense, and I think they'll both make a lot of money. And I really do believe that that fight will happen. I think it's the best fight for the amount of money that can be made. And I think in Floyd Mayweather's mind, it's another win to chalk up number 50 and break Rocky Marciano's record. Joining me right now, that I'm curious to get his thoughts. Speaking of Rocky, Rocky Senecola. What's up, Sal?
Hey, good morning, Bill. How are you today?
Not too bad, my man. Not too bad. What do you think? Mayweather, Pacquiao, too. You think the fight makes sense? I mean, when you look at it in all ways, right? Forget about the first fight. I mean, people can say, well, the first fight was anticlimactic. But we knew it was going to be anticlimactic. We knew that the fight wasn't going to be exciting. We all hoped that it would be better. But we knew deep down basically what we got. We got what we all knew deep down. Will there be a rematch, and does it make sense?
Yeah, we got almost what we as fans deserved. I mean, here they go. They promote the fight of the century, which reoccurred because there have been several fights of the century.
There's been several centuries since fighting has come around.
And yes, it was anticlimactic. And Billy, I'll never forget because you pegged it. As soon as that last bell rang and the decision was read, you called the exact chronological order of events that would occur. And I'll be damned, but you've been right on. Clairvoyant. I'm going to ask you about the next lottery wins for winnings.
Hey, slow it down. If I knew the lottery wins, you think I'd be doing this show? You think I'd be struggling doing this show? If I knew what numbers were going to come up in the lottery, trust me, I'd be living at some gorgeous place like St. Simon's Island, Georgia, where only the rich can live there. You know how it is. That's right. That's where you live.
My thoughts on that fight. Would it help boxing? I don't know if it would help boxing. I know that the first fight was supposed to be a big thing for boxing, and as you said, it was anticlimactic, and then with his shoulder situation, supposedly the shoulder ailment before, and other things, I don't know. There are fight fans out there that are a little smarter, that may say, you know what, this is all about the money and all about this, because here's my thought. If it was about the passion and about the love and about everything else, it would have been a better fight to begin with. And because like I said, I saw Pacquiao. He had his moments, and when you're supposed to stay in the trenches and fire the guns, and you got your opponent cornered or on the ropes, you're not supposed to relent. And I didn't see the substance within a fighter's heart and mind, the passion. I don't care what limb was not working right. You don't do what he did, and I don't see it. I think it will occur. I think you're right on, but I don't think it's going to be the save all and the end all and all that good for boxing.
Well,
I think fight fans are smart.
Well, listen. Here's the thing. Let's backtrack a sec, and let's look at it from the perspective of the two fighters. Both fighters have announced that they're retired, which I don't think there's a person on the planet that believes either one of them.
Right.
Manny Pacquiao has won a political seat, something that's going to take up a lot of his time. So, I mean, his future in boxing clearly is over. He may be able to squeeze in one more fight. So that one more fight has to be a financially lucrative fight, which comes with Floyd Mayweather. When you look at Manny Pacquiao, in addition to that, you look at his last fight. He looked good against a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter in Timothy Bradley. He looked good. He wasn't the old Manny Pacquiao that was destroying people, but he looked good. He dropped Bradley a couple of times. To me, he looked good. He went out on a positive note. Now, when you look at Floyd Mayweather's undefeated. He brags about that. He brags about all the money he's made. He puts himself up on a pedestal. He even has the audacity to name himself as the number one best pound-for-pound fighter of all time. He's got all his cronies, talking about him like he's, the greatest thing since sliced bread, which a lot of us don't, believe. But the truth of the matter is this. His last fight, that's etched in everyone's mind, was a cheesy layup fight against Andre Berto. This is a guy that tied Rocky Marciano's record with this win. And when you look at these two fighters who have been parallel throughout their careers, really, the last fight in our mind, you know better than anyone, Sal, the last image people have of boxers, any athlete, is their last game, their last fight. Their last performance is what kind of gets etched in people's mind. That's why, not to be morbid, but that's why I've always, wondered why people have open caskets at funerals. I don't want to have that image of that. I don't want that image of grandma laying there, looking. She looks so good. Looks good. Looks like somebody painted her, man. She don't look good.
Hate that.
You close.
He's dead.
Yeah, I know. You close the casket so people can visualize all the good things. Well, it's the same thing with sports. You want people to visualize when they think of superstar players and boxers and what have you. You want them to visualize the best time, not the worst. The last image I have of both of these guys so far is Pacquiao looking good against Bradley. Mayweather, having an easy way of Andre Berto. Did he look bad? Absolutely not. He looked good, but that wasn't the point. The point is he didn't challenge himself. I think this fight makes sense. I think it makes sense. It's going to make a lot of dollars. And I think that the Pacquiao fans will, use the shoulder injury as an excuse. There are some people still thinking that he won the fight, which is a joke. I just think there's not a bigger, better fight. I mean, the only other fight I'd rather see Floyd, like if Manny Pacquiao never fights again, I'm okay with that. But Floyd, the only other fight, in my opinion, would have to be the winner of Thurman Porter, Keith Thurman and Sean Porter. He's rumored and talked about possibly fighting Danny Garcia. I'm talking about Floyd. I don't know. The winner of Thurman Porter or Pacquiao, I think, is the best fight for Floyd. And I do think he's going to fight, and I do think it's going to happen this year in September.
I think you're right. I'm right on all across the board. I just don't know if that next opponent will be Pacquiao. It may be, and like I told you a long time ago, my opinion, and we could surely find out with the fight stats. But I think if they fought 100 times, I think Pacquiao gets beat 99 times of them. I think Mayweather has his number permanently, and that's just my opinion. So we'll see. And you just made a good comment. One of my favorite sayings has always been, a fighter is only as good as his last fight, and that's what we judge him on.
No, I hear that 100%. And I think the fight's going to happen. I know that they've been talking. I guess Floyd has been swinging by the Wild Card gym and hanging out there. And, I know it's not because he's best buddies with Freddie Roach or Manny Pacquiao. There's got to be some reasons. It was reported yesterday that he stopped by again, and Freddie Roach claims that they had some pleasant conversation. As a matter of fact, they presented Floyd with the speed bag that Manny used to prepare for the fight, which has a painted picture of Floyd on it. He gives it to him. But anyway, hey, listen, Sal, don't go anywhere. I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, I got an email I want to read and get your thoughts on. And then also some stuff happened in the sport this past week concerning the final say, I guess, or at least one of the final says. There's no such thing as a final say in boxing, but the WBC heavyweight title fight that was either postponed or canceled between Deontay Wilder and Alexander Povetkin. The WBC made a ruling on this fight and how it's going to move forward, when and if, and all that stuff. And I want to get your thoughts on that. So we got some things to talk about, my man. And we might even open up the phone lines and try to bring on a listener or two while we got you on the phone. I might take that risk. I might take the gamble. So let's take a short break. Go get another coffee, all right? And
I'm going to get another cup of coffee.
Yeah, I get some coffee, and we'll be back in 2.
The Billy C. Morning Show will be right back.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now, back to the Billy C. Morning Show. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C. Morning Show. Glad you guys could be with us. We're glad to be with you. Yeah, we're glad to be with you. Today's show is being brought to you in part by JKJ Boxing Magazine. It's for free. Subscribe now. It's for free. Did I tell you it's for free? Free. For free. Download the latest copy right now. Or have it sent to your door. Visit www.billycboxing.com and click on the JKJ Boxing Magazine cover for all the information. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant located in the beautiful Golden Isles, specifically St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Check out the website to drool over the delicioso menu. And then there's always some specials and stuff, too. www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. And like I said before, only the rich can live in St. Simon's Island. And speaking of the rich, joining me right now is Sal Rocky Senecola. I'm starving just thinking about your restaurant, man. Man, you got to figure out a way to send me some stuff. I mean, I'm starting to lose weight, Sal. I'm wasting weight to nothing.
Unbelievable. We got to do something about that right now.
I know. I mean, it's getting. I'm getting nervous. But anyway, Alexander Povetkin was scheduled to fight Deontay Wilder, mandatory WBC challenger for Wilder's title. And one of the knocks on Wilder is that he's had a pretty easy road to his championship, and he pounds his chest like he's the best fighter on the planet. And I really was looking forward to this fight, Sal, because to me it would be a really good test how good Deontay Wilder is. As much as I want him to be as good as he says he is, I'm not so sure. And I thought that Povetkin was going to be a really good test so we could see where Deontay Wilder really stands. And it was announced that Povetkin tested positive for a controlled performance-enhancing substance. And it was revealed yesterday that the WBC has granted permission to Deontay Wilder to make a voluntary defense of his WBC heavyweight title while they sort everything out with the situation with Alexander Povetkin. I'm thinking he's going to pick another layup. What do you think? I mean, if you're Wilder and you've done everything that Wilder has done and his team has moved him in the exact way they have so far, would you consider having him, if you were the management or even if you were making the decisions yourself, would you consider having him fight a good opponent here just to shut people like me up? Or would you take the cupcake route and wait for the WBC to rule on the Alexander Povetkin situation?
We need a sound effect like the answer for Jeopardy to play in the background. Da-na-na-na. I think
what we have is this: when you think of something like that, I like this one.
I thought Europe was a country.
I don't know what they mean.
What show is this? This is like the blonde Babs. That's what you need when you get into that kind of stuff.
Those comments are from our future eligible voters that are going to be pulling the levers this November.
Yeah, you're right. We got to be careful. The thing is they text their vote, right? They don't even go. The young voters today, they're looking. How do I text my vote? I don't want to have to actually walk into a place and pull a lever. I mean, can't I text it? What do I have to really vote? I mean, can't I just text my vote? But what do you think? What do you think about this fight? I mean, do you think they're going to go a tough route, or do you think they're going to take a cupcake?
No, I don't think they're going to go a tough route. I think they're going to do something a little bit in between. They're not going to get an obvious layover. He gets to choose anybody ranked in the top 10, correct? Is that still the rule?
I think the WBC requires the top 12. That's why all of a sudden, yeah, you know what you do? The best thing to do is everyone keep an eye on the WBC rankings, and when all of a sudden some guy appears at number 12, that's going to be the opponent.
There'll be somebody that rises up out of obscurity from another country and third world country, and all of a sudden he'll be number 12, and let's fight him. And who knows? I think they will choose to take a easier route for this fight because they're going to preserve the money showdown and everything else for the Povetkin fight to come about maybe the next time. And it's probably strategically the smarter move, although we would like to see him tested with somebody maybe ranked in the top 5. That would be a real credible move. But I think they're going to probably look at the bottom 5 instead of the top 5.
Yeah, they're going to probably look at the bottom 50. What are you talking
the
about?
Bottom feeders.
I tell you what, there was an upset yesterday in China. And not that Obama, not that the people were
Say,
upset.
wait.
Because I know that Obama was in China and people are upset.
They got very upset.
Yeah, they're upset, but they're upset. And he's like, "Oh, you guys are gonna miss me? Yeah, well, they're gonna miss you because they've totally taken over since he's been there." But no, I'm talking about in a boxing ring. One of the top flyweights in the sport of boxing. Was a fighter that I was looking forward to fighting Roman Gonzalez. Amanat Ruingrung was this guy, and he was on a collision course with Gonzalez, except John Real Casimiro didn't get the memo, Sal, because Casimiro, who was getting pummeled until he decided to end things, knocked out Ruingrung yesterday in the fourth round in China to improve to 22 wins and 3 losses with 14 knockouts. The official time was 2 minutes and 10 seconds of the fourth round. Ruingrung loses for the first time in his career. He's now 17-1, and looks like possibly Casimiro to face Roman Gonzalez next. You never know in this beautiful sport of boxing, Sal.
It's it definitely turns the tide a little bit and gives you a new focal point to consider.
You know what's funny about that particular fight is that a lot of reports, and I didn't get a chance to look at anything, I haven't found a clip on it yet, but a lot of reports say that it looked like a sparring session, that Ruingrung was just battering Casimiro around the ring like, it was a snooze fest, and then all of a sudden, Casimiro was like he said to himself, you know what, I'm going to change the course of this fight, and then just came on and knocked out Ruingrung. And it makes you wonder, I'm dying to see some clips of this fight, because it makes you wonder about stuff like that, if, the alleged fix
Brown
is
bottle?
in. Yeah, hey, you're not supposed to win this fight, and all of a sudden, you know what, I think I'm going to win this fight. I don't know, man.
One of the greatest turnarounds or endings of a fight was when I'll never forget it. It's just etched in my mind. Was when the great Angelo Dundee, told Sugar Ray Leonard, "You're blowing it, babe. You better do something now." And he turned around and went on to win the Tommy Hearns fight.
You're blowing it, son.
That's right.
You're blowing it, son.
I was thinking of a girl.
Yeah, yeah. You were thinking of a girl, all right, and
No.
you were complimenting her. You're blowing it, honey. You're blowing it, babe.
Blowing relationships is what I do. I'm telling you, I'm a relationship loser.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just a loser, I think. But anyway, I got an email from my man Joel.
All right, let's hear from Joel. What did he say?
He says, "Hey, Billy C, with the holiday weekend in the U.S. upon us, a lot of people will be out enjoying the weather, being at barbecues with their family, and have little interest in watching TV. Plus, a lot of promoters don't really put on cards in the States over this weekend. Of the state of boxing, we do have... of the slate of boxing we do have, would you recommend to the boxing fan if you had to choose one from the list below?" And he's got Jarrell Miller against Nick Guvias on Friday. I have no interest in that fight. Jarrell Miller has been a fabricated heavyweight contender. Nick Guivas or whatever is a guy that is just a sacrificial lamb. I do not see any fight on that card. That card happens to be one of the worst matched fights cards I have ever seen, and how this commission in Niagara Falls could even allow it, with the exception of the main event, Jarrell Miller's fight looks good on paper. That's the worst matched card I've ever seen for a television. I mean, we're supposed to have. Here I go. My blood pressure's rising. So
I heard it.
Here we go.
Down.
The club shows are supposed to support the sport of boxing, and these are the shows that you want the local fan to be talking about and follow boxing. And they get who the hell would spend $5 to watch this card? Listen, if you guys don't believe me, go punch it up and see what garbage is going to be presented on Friday night up in Niagara Falls. He says, how about the Mosley Avayancian? I can't pronounce this guy's name. Avayancian, David Avayancian's card. I don't mind that fight. I'm a big Sugar Shane Mosley fan, even the faded, washed up Mosley, and I don't think you should look past him. Some interesting issues on that. is they have the line. To win $100, you got to bet around $200 for Avancian or Avianisan or whatever. And you could win about $1.50 if you bet 100 on Sugar Shane Mosley. 44 years old, Mosley is going up against a 27-year-old youngster. So the odds makers are all over the kid in that one. He says Ricky Burns against Michelle DeRocco. That's a good fight. If you can get that on a feed of some kind, that's going to be a good fight. Ricky Burns, you never know which Ricky Burns is going to show up. Sometimes he gets down to business. Sometimes he's boring. I think there's a lot to prove from DeRocco, so I like that fight. He's got Miguel Vasquez, but he also says the Bellew against Makabu fight in the UK on Sunday, that is probably going to be the best fight of the weekend, and that's the one I would recommend. Did you get a chance to look at any of these fights? I know it's kind of slow, Sal, but did you get a chance to look at any of those?
No, but I will.
No, I'm sure.
Good answer.
No, but I will before Monday's show, Bill.
Absolutely.
But,
I wrote them all down.
but anyway, we got a guest coming on in about a half hour. I'm looking forward to that a little bit later. But before we take another break here, and then at the break, I'm going to try to open up the phone lines, maybe take a caller or two. But Mike Tyson, we were talking before we went on the air. Mike Tyson's got some strong views about pros in the Olympics, but maybe different thoughts than you and I. Real quickly, Sal, do you think that a professional athlete from the United States should be allowed to perform in the Olympics?
That is such a loaded question, and I'll tell you why. Because I could see the argument on both sides of the fence. Back in the old days that we often bring up, when there was the Soviet Union or even now Russia, there was always a viewpoint that you could look at these guys coming into the Olympic Games as professional amateurs because they were totally not allowed to do anything professionally with the communist countries. However, we had since seen pro athletes from different sports enter into the Olympics. And I have a hard time with that. I still do, because I remember how much I wanted to be an Olympian and what it meant to me as an amateur status. That is supposed to represent a gold medal. You're the best amateur athlete in the world at that given time for that given sport. And to me, it meant a lot. And I also still wish, Olympics were every 4 years as they used to parlay. And now they're tiered 2 years here, 2 years there, summer, winter. Like I said, everything's changed, and I'm not one that likes change, Bill. But anyway, the thing is this. With a professional fighter, Mike Tyson, I saw that article, his argument actually was, and I'll tell you, it's very much open for debate. He said it would be detrimental for a professional athlete to enter into the Olympics as a boxer, to go from a professional status and throw your hat into the ring, if you will, because he thinks that the professional fighters should be prepared to lose because of the amateurs having the ability to turn on a fight within the 3 rounds with their speed and their scoring system and things like that. That's a debatable issue, You got 2-minute rounds versus 3-minute rounds. You got 3 rounds versus 10 or 12 rounds. And so, yeah, that could be open for debates, and your scoring system's a little different. The fighting rules are a little different. I used to fight, I got disqualified in the nationals of the AAU championships one time for using a professional style where your hands have to be in front of your chin at all time when you're bobbing and weaving. I would just wade in there, and I got disqualified in semifinals or whatever it is because my face was ahead of my hands. I didn't know the rule at the time, but I learned that fast.
You were using that famous defensive move, the face block.
It was. How many fights did I win as an amateur by just allowing my opponent to either break his hands on my face or to just
tire himself out? Yeah, tire himself out.
Come on, hit me.
Yeah, is that all you got? Is that all you got?
I'm going to tire.
Yeah,
I was just going to lay a big one.
Sal, hold that thought. Let's take a break, and we'll finish up on the Olympics. Then we'll give a shot to opening up the phone line and having all of us on the line at once. We'll be back in 2.
show will be right back.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C. first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to the Billy C Morning Show. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And, we're back, man. You're listening to the Billy C Morning Show. Glad you guys could join us. Don't forget about my book, Tom Molino, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold. You can get a copy right now, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or visit our website and go to the book club section, www.BillyCBoxing.com. I'm joined right now with Sal, by Sal Rocky Senecola, and before we went to break, we were talking about the pros in the Olympics, and I take it, Sal, by divulging your secret to success in your pro boxing career of letting people beat the crap out of you. You took some shots as a pro too, but anyway, let me just ask you this: so officially, are you for or against pro fighters in the Olympics?
I'm against it.
All right. Well, here's my thought. All right. And I don't mean to go against you, but here's why I think that it's not that crazy of an idea. No. When you look at the Olympics, and you look at all of the countries that are involved in the Olympics, at one time when the Olympics were formed back in the way back in the Caesar days, it was basically an opportunity for each country to put the best athletes they had against each other and crowned a worldwide champion, okay? Over the course of time, it became labeled as amateurs. As a matter of fact, Jim Thorpe had made, I think, about 3 cents playing football or something like that, and they stripped him of his gold medals, for years. They just gave him back.
That's the whole thing. You're opening up a can of worms, but go ahead.
But here's the thing. When you look at all the other countries that are involved, now years ago you could say, well, poor Russia, they don't have any professional athletes. Poor Cuba, they don't have any professional athletes, whatever. But now that the world has shrunk, global, sports, soccer specifically, and I mean, there's no such thing as, you can't get into pro unless your country just doesn't allow you to make any phone calls. You could become a professional. With that said, we're the only country that technically isn't putting pros in. Once we get a pro, an athlete that turns pro, which means as long as they're getting paid, now they can compete. But yet we're competing. We're sending our kids, basically, to go compete against other countries that are still fielding the best athletes of their country. So to me, I think it's kind of even the playing field. We did it with hoops. When we had the dream team.
It's a debatable issue. I'm telling you right now. It's open for conversation easily. And like I said, I could see an argument on both sides, and you're providing one right there.
Yeah.
And I definitely can agree on some level with that. I guess it's just, again, the old school. I just remember, hey, the best amateur athlete. And it's a breeding ground for the pros to then parlay your success as an amateur to then work up the ranks as a pro. But you're right. We have professional baseball players doing it. We have basketball players doing it. And so it's inevitable that we're going to start to see professional fighters and boxers. But I'll tell you what, for some champions, it may be a no-win situation because, you know what, if you win a fight, hey, wow, I just beat up some amateur fighter. And if you lose, oh, damn, I just lost to an amateur fighter.
You're right. Well, that's a great point, and that's the risk that fighter has to make. So, I mean, that's a whole nother ball game. But hey, Sal, let's try and take a caller from a listener. The phone line is open. We'll see if we can't hang up on Sal and the listener, but give us a call, 845-228-8710. While we're waiting for that, let's talk about some other sports real quick. In the NBA playoffs, the Eastern Conference Finals, the Cavaliers take a 3-2 lead over the Raptors after beating the crap out of them last night. 116-78. LeBron James led the Cavaliers with 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Raptors were led by DeMar DeRozan, who had 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Over in the NHL, the Sharks beat the Blues 5-2 to win them a shot at the Stanley Cup, and they are now waiting for the winner of tonight's Penguin Lightning game to decide who's going to be in that. In Major League Baseball, the Mets, behind my man Steven Matz, improved to, they beat the Nationals 2-0. Matz improves to 7-1 with a 2.36 ERA. Over in some other scores, the Phillies beat the Tigers 8-5. The Twins topped the Royals 7-5. The Cubbies over the Cardinals 9-2. The Rangers beat the Angels 15-9. These two teams combined to hit 32 hits, make 32 hits, 24 runs. It sounds like a football score. Indians beat the White Sox 4-3. Giants over the Padres 4-3. Blue Jays topped the Yankees 8-4. Pirates over the Diamondbacks 5-4. Red Sox 10. Rockies 3. Brewers 3. Braves 2. Marlins 4. Rays 3. Astros 4. Orioles 3. Mariners 13. A's 3. Dodgers 3. Reds 1. That takes care of what's going on in other sports. But Sal, we're joined right now by me first, I think. My man Joel, I think, is on the line. Are you there, Joel?
What's up, buddy? I'm here. I hear you perfectly.
How about you, Sal? You here, Joel?
Good morning, Joel. How are you?
What's up, Sal? How are you, buddy?
Doing great, pal.
Right,
Doing great. Thanks for calling in.
We succeeded.
Yeah, this is a first. This is like the Apollo rocket landing on the moon.
Apollo?
Maybe.
Wasn't he in Rocky? wasn't that the guy in Rocky?
This is great. I really, that I can hear both of you, and I know Billy doesn't. BC doesn't do this often because of phone issues. But I just wanted to say, BC, I was really happy. I sent you that email. I was driving you crazy to read on the air on Tuesday. That it was Tuesday about you going to the Fairmont Porter fight. I'm excited. Look, I don't like giving money to Al Heyman, but I think it's going to be a great fight. And it's going to be on CBS. I'm looking forward to it. I really don't know much about the co-feature, the Abner Mares, Jesus Cuellar fight, but I really think it's going to be a good time. I want to get there. I don't know. Last time I went to first time I went to boxing was Malinaji Broner, and I was with my cousin who was visiting again from Australia at the time, and we were with a bunch of friends, so we really didn't get there early enough. I'm hoping there's going to be a smaller group this time, because that probably will allow us to get there early enough, because the tickets were $300+ for each ticket. So I really want to get there early and get, I didn't pay for it, but still get my money's worth and see somebody under the off-TV fights. I mean, that's the best part of going.
Meet them there. You gotta, it's Sal, right? I mean, the undercard fights, the preliminary fights on big fight cards are usually good fights, especially with the unknowns, the 4 and 6 round fights. You don't want to miss those, Joel, right, Sal?
No, those are good fights. Usually for a title fight, championship card, those are all good fights.
They used to be.
They used to be, absolutely.
So Joel, what's your thoughts on our topic today about? I believe that the Mayweather-Pacquiao rematch will happen, and I think it does make sense in a lot of different ways, not just in the pocketbooks. What's your thoughts?
I stood behind you for a long time on that issue. I don't know, what I think Mayweather's going to take the easiest route. He's trying to drum up interest in the Mayweather-McGregor fight, but I'm a May fan, but do I really want to, see that? I don't, first of all, I don't think it's going to happen. But
it's not
do I really realistically think he'll try to get it done by sometime next year? Sure. I heard he went to patent with the TMT 50 name and TBE 50. So come on, what the hell is he? He's having a 50th fight, and he's not going to have it against somebody that's dangerous. So Pacquiao, I think, is the guy. You said it last year, and I still agree with you.
Yeah, but I think that he thinks that Pacquiao's not dangerous. He's convinced himself. His cronies around him has convinced him that he'll beat him again. Sal says that if they fought 100 times, Mayweather beats him 99. So I mean, to Mayweather, that's an easy fight. All the pressure actually falls on Pacquiao to perform better than he did, and whether he does or not will be yet to be seen. As far as the McGregor fight, that fight will never happen. Never, ever, 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 ever happen. And the reason why is because all of the consolations would have to be in Floyd's court. And then what challenge is that? A guy that's in the MMA, a guy that's used to not only doing stand-up but also, takedown moves and stuff like that, a guy that could be argued the best in MMA. But how does that carry over to boxing? It makes, listen, the only appeal that would have is in your age group, Joel. Your age group might.
I'll be 32. I'm not a baby.
I'm just saying, your age group and younger.
He's maturing.
Yeah, but his age group and younger would be the only ones that would support it. I certainly would laugh at it. It's a joke to me. I'm just appalled at how a lot of young fans get sucked into the BS and the smoke and mirrors, and they shell out the money. Now the fight that you and your cousin and your buddies are going to, that's a real fight. Sean Porter against Keith Thurman, real fight. Now, if Floyd says, okay, for my 50th win, I'm going to fight the winner of that fight. Hey, I stand and applaud Floyd Mayweather if he does that.
Me too.
But he won't.
Yeah, I would too, boys.
He won't. No.
Sal, have you seen Conor McGregor fight at all, or heard about him?
I know I shouldn't let it be known right now. I'm not a huge fan of MMA. I have seen his clips. He is talented, and again, I'm going to use this term: if all playing fields were equal or level. I see in McGregor's corner or his ring. Yeah, he would beat Floyd if it was his terms, his ring on his playing field. I see Mayweather outboxing, and if it's a boxing match to the Marcus of Queensberry rules, I see Mayweather handling him pretty efficiently.
Well, let me just tell you what Sal just did, Joel. He's got Heather and Max waiting at the restaurant right now with baseball bats. They're going to kick the shit out of him when he gets there because they're both big MMA fans. So
they are.
Oh, okay. I get where you're going with this. The thing is, Sal, is what's very interesting is Conor lost his last fight. He took in UFC. One of his original opponent got injured 2 weeks out. The end of February, there was a big card in March that he was headlining, and then one of these prominent guys, called Nate Diaz, the Diaz brothers from Stockton. Not very well spoken, but he's a phenomenal athlete. You know, you look at his record, you'd say he's probably not that great, but him and his brother do these triathlons, they ride bikes. My point is their cardio is amazing, their boxing is amazing, their jiu-jitsu is amazing. In 2 weeks' notice, he beat Conor McGregor he submitted him in the second round, and now Conor can't, really sleep well because, here's this big guy talking all the talk, and, and then he loses his fight. He loses a fight because he goes up 2 weight classes. He fights at 45. He went up to 70. So I feel like he should worry about that first instead of, fighting a guy that, is the best in boxing. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that they should even have a conversation. And I know, truthfully, Conor McGregor it's eating at him that he lost this fight, that he had to submit. He got submitted by this guy who took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. I think they gave this guy the fight because they figured, Conor could beat him on 2 weeks' notice, and that's not what happened. It was the opposite. So, I just think it's very silly. I don't buy it. Again, like Billy says, it's always on Mayweather's terms, and and that's what it's going to be. They'll offer Conor, $10 million, and Floyd will take, $200.
Yeah,
we need
Joel,
to make.
I'll tell you what, you made a good point there, and that could exactly be Conor could be grasping at straws at this point because of his humility and defeat against that fighter on 2 weeks' notice. That's a big thing to overcome emotionally and just in the game, with picturesque with your status as a world beater. Guess what? You're not.
Sal, we got to make boxing great again.
We do.
And
we're going to do the Donald Trump thing. We're going to make boxing great again. We're going to make America great again.
Joel used amazing. Joel used the word amazing almost as much as Donald Trump uses in one of his speeches.
Hey, but it is amazing.
Well, I want to say, Sal doesn't know about losing because from what Billy says, he's got the best pizza. So he doesn't know about humility. He doesn't know about defeat. He doesn't know about loss because he's on the winning. He's on the W. He's always got that W.
Joe, listen. I know you're talking about defeat, but Sal's got some pretty solid hands too. I mean,
No, I know. I'm not trying to. I wanted to
leave
talk
his feet out of
with
this.
you guys. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said leave his feet out of this. Get it? Defeat.
I wanted to ask you guys. Dax wants to call in, and I don't want to touch on his topic, but with Deontay Wilder and his, voluntary defense, I tell you now. After Joey Abell beat Wes Snowfire 2 weeks ago on PBC on FS1. Hey Billy, and I don't know if Sal, if you know about this too, but maybe Joey Abell's going to be number 4 on the WBC rankings. They were talking in the chat with Munir Dorticos, maybe Edison Morante, Fulgencio Zuniga. I mean, these guys may end up on the WBC top 10. I mean, Miranda's in a lot of big trouble with drugs, and I know. But the joke is, Zuniga and Miranda both fought almost 200 pounds their last fight, so they may end up in the WBC top 10 next week, Billy.
Hey, guess who else is fighting in the heavyweight division now?
Who?
BJ Flores.
Yeah?
His last two fights have been at heavyweight. He's an Al Heyman fighter. He's looking for a big payday.
Shumanov.
But you see that Dos Ticos and Shumanov and Lebedev, they're all involved in a somewhat of a WBA cruiserweight tournament, so you're not going to see them. And you got to give Dos Ticos credit. I know Dax doesn't want to give him credit for some reason, but the bottom line is he fought a guy in our rankings in the top 10. He fought him for an interim belt, and he won. So he immediately takes that spot. We go by the guy who beat the guy, and whether he's deserving or not. Hey, it's the same thing that happened in China yesterday. John Real Casimiro was not supposed to beat Amat Ruingrung, and he ends up knocking him out. Now, Casimiro...
But didn't they both miss weight? They both missed weight, I heard.
Yeah, they were missed weight big time, but regardless of that... Hey, listen, when both fighters miss weight... Now you got to start looking at the scales being used. When one fighter is off, you can blame the fighter. But when everybody's that's getting on the scale is off, now you got to start looking at the scale. Maybe. What do you think about that, Sal?
Yeah, look at that scale.
I'll tell you what. I'm afraid to look at it. When I get on the scale, I'm afraid to look at it. As a matter of fact, most people see numbers. I see, hey, one of you guys got to get off. So, But anyway. Real quick, I want to ask both you guys, and then Joel, we got to let you go. We got a guest coming
No
on
problem.
here in a few minutes. But, Erslandy Lara fought this past weekend. And as talented as he is, you guys both know that, he's not too exciting to watch. And even for somebody who likes to watch, skill on display and stuff, which he clearly has, he's just not an exciting fighter. And I think his last plea, which has been in the media, is pretty much, reasoning why I feel that way. Erslandy Lara says, first of all, he wants to break Gianfranco Rossi's record for the junior middleweights with 11 defenses. He wants to make 12. But then in the next breath, he says, and I quote, "I'm ready to step up and fight anyone in my division, or if a big fight at middleweight can be made." He says, my first choice to fight would be to fight Triple G because I feel he's the toughest opponent. It would be a fight that would solidify my legacy. My next choice I would want a rematch with Canelo because there's a lot of unfinished business with a lot of controversy. My question is this. Does Lara really, do you think he's positioned himself from a demand standpoint in terms of the fans to get one of those big fights? I mean, his name has been mentioned many times with Triple G. Some of the Triple G naysayers say he's avoiding Lara. I don't see it. I don't see anything that Lara brings that would hinder Triple G from fighting him. He's certainly not going to hurt him. First, Sal, what's your thoughts? And then we'll hear Joel's.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I agree with you. I don't think there's much that we're going to see different as far as a Lara Triple G fight. I think the end will be inevitable, and Lara will be beaten. And I think, you have a lot of touting and pounding of the chest these days. I think some of these fighters have taken it upon themselves to market themselves, to their credit, because it used to be the promoters that would promote these fighters and do things. Right now, you're looking at the fighters. They're trying to be the personalities that attract the dollars to try to market themselves, and I can't disagree with them. But that's a fight that I agree. Lara will not really be having his hand raised in victory.
But should he even bother calling out the Triple Gs and the Canelos, or should he focus on
He should focus on what's in front of him. Here's the thing: he's got to wait till the fans demand that fight and everything else, and the promoters get the interest. Let this guy put his head to the grindstone and fight who he can to really be the forefront of being the best, to face the contender, or to face the champion.
What do you think, Joel?
I mean, Billy, you're right. Lara's very slick, kind of like, how you said a year or two ago about Guillermo Rigondeaux, and you're like, oh, everyone says Mayweather's so great, but Rigondeaux does the same thing, and no one gives him credit. Lara's a very slick fighter. He could be boring. But I don't think, to answer your question, he's in the right ballpark to be making demands. Like I agree with Sal and you that he should just be fighting his fights. He's not in that Mayweather Triple G park to be making his demands and calling anything. If the fans demand it, they demand it. But I think Sal's make fights. If it ever came to it where Heyman and K2 could work something out, and Triple G has no options, I'm interested. I'm interested to see his slickness. Do I want to see a Canelo rematch? No. But if they run out of opponents, sure, why not do Triple G and Lara? We'll see what happens. I think Triple G would win, but it would be a very exciting fight. I mean, just to see this very slick guy who people think are boring versus Triple G, and see how he's how he does in the ring.
Great points, and appreciate you calling in, Joel. We'll wait for you
Sal,
next time.
Billy, guys, have a great holiday weekend. It was wonderful talking to both of you. Sal, check your Facebook. Like I said, I sent you a very nice message, and
thank you, Joel.
Hope you guys have a great rest of the day.
You did the same. Have a great weekend, Joel. Thanks for your call. Great call.
Take it easy, Joel.
Thanks so much.
Geez, he's really kissing your butt, isn't he, Sal?
I don't know. Hey, he's a good man. I like him. I still owe him a T-shirt too.
Joel's a good kid. I love the interaction.
Hey, is he coming to the Boxing Hall of Fame? We got to start talking about that next week.
I don't know if he's coming. He should.
He should. I'm going to bring him a T-shirt.
But he made an interesting point about Guillermo Rigondeaux, and I just want to clarify one thing. I do believe that Guillermo Rigondeaux is a top fighter, but I think he and Lara are extremely different, and I'll tell you why. Lara is a fighter that seems all right. I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but Lara is a one-dimensional fighter. And what I say by that is he's a counter-punching machine. If you don't start the punch that he can counter, he doesn't start the punch. We saw that this past weekend when in his last fight. He wasn't good at starting the action. He's good at countering and positioning himself to do some damage, but he's not good as the aggressor. You got to be able to switch it up. Now, as far as Rigondeaux, what I love about Rigondeaux is he's standing right in front of you, Sal, 6 inches away, and you can't hit him. You can't hit him. And he's not avoiding you with his feet. He's avoiding you with his upper body. He's like a slinky. And he can be aggressive at times, even though he's been slated as a boring fighter. I think they're two different fighters.
Yeah, they are. I agree. Hey, Billy, I got a scenario I just want to bounce off you. I know I got to go soon.
In about a minute.
Okay, good. I'll speak fast.
All right.
Hey, we're talking about the amateurs and the pros in the Olympics. Picture this. We have a world champion, professional fighter, going into the Olympics and losing to some amateur fighter on some level. Now the amateur fighter wants to fight a professional fight and make millions of dollars against the pro because he could tout to beat him. And then they sanction a fight, and it's going to be for a non-title, maybe 10 rounds or something like that. And all of a sudden, the amateur who was able to beat this professional in 2-minute rounds, 3 2-minute rounds, is going for 3 10-minute rounds. 10 3-minute rounds. And during the course of a fight, in a professional fight, he's going to get hurt, and he's going to wind up being carried out on a stretcher. That's a scenario that could happen, and it's something to think about when you're talking about professional fighters going into boxing in the Olympics.
Well, I think that's the other side. I don't know. You'd have to wonder because they did remove the headgear this year. So you got fighters going in as far as I know with this next Olympics coming up without headgear, like they used to. In case I was just going to say in case you're not aware of it, Sal, they kind of went to headgear. I think that the interesting point would be a world champion going into the Olympics and losing. Does that amateur take on that title? I mean, does the sanctioning body just?
They'll take on the persona to get the interest and stimulate the promoters' ideas and promote. Remember, boxing is a lot about money.
And does it count as an exhibition? There's a lot. You're right. There's a lot of things that have to be done. Hey, real quick, and then I gotta go. I got less than 30 seconds. Joel brought up Canelo and Triple G when we were talking about Lara, but I think Triple G is Canelo's best option at this point. Although Triple G could fight Daniel Jacobs, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. As far as Canelo, I think Triple G is his only option, really, especially to save face. Real quick, what do you think?
I think you're right. I think that fight could happen, and it could happen at the end of this year or early next year. And I think it's a good fight. I think it's a one that the fans would love to see. But I still think at this stage in both their careers, I see Triple G beating Canelo, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Sal, great job as usual. Let's chat a little bit later, and we'll catch you tomorrow with us, man.
Okay, that sounds great, Billy. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much, guys. And hey, don't forget to tell people what happened in this date in boxing history.
No, I don't want to remember this date in boxing history. Being a big Sonny Liston fan. And you know what, everybody, we are going to open up the phone lines tomorrow. It's Friday, fan-driven Friday. So if you didn't get a chance to call in today, you will have a chance tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Sal, I'll talk to you later, my man.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. Take care.
That's
Bye-bye.
Sal, Rocky, Senecola. You can catch him here tomorrow morning. I'll be back in 2.
The Billy C. Morning Show will be right back.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
Hit Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to the Billy C Morning Show, part of the Billy C Boxing Network. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C Morning Show. Don't forget about my book. What? You don't have a couple of copies? Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now, where all good books are sold. And you can literally get a copy of it right now by visiting Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is a must-read for everybody, not just boxing fans. It's a true story, and we need to get the history set right, because there's a little areas that need to be corrected. And after you read this book, you'll be able to help me do that. So Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now, where all good books are sold. Hey, you guys know I do a lot of stuff in the state of Florida. We do a lot of shows down there with LDL TV, and I'm constantly working down in the Sunshine State, even though I'm up here in upstate New York. I specifically like Florida when it's cold up here, and I could go down there and enjoy myself. But it's not a safe place for everybody, because roaming the area in the Sunshine State right now is an undefeated welterweight fighter, Bryant Goodfella Perella. And he's undefeated right now, 13-0, with 12 of his wins coming by knockout. He's getting ready to fight arguably one of the biggest fights of his career. And he joins us right now from the Sunshine State, I believe. Bryant Goodfella Perella, you're on the air. What's up, brother?
Hi, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm glad you could take some time out this morning. You're not still in your feety pajamas or anything, right? You probably already did your road work and everything, right?
I got up. I got my cup of coffee. I'm more of a night owl, but I'm usually up around this time, so it's all good.
Cool. Hey, listen, before I ask you some questions, you know Steve Canton and Ron Rose down there?
Yeah, that's actually the first gym that I went into, the SJC Boxing Club with Steve Canton.
Yeah,
I'm good friends with those guys.
Great guy, and I know that you're getting ready for a big fight on June 4th up in Canada. I noticed at least in your pro career, it's the first time you're fighting out of the States. Have you had to prepare any differently, or is mentally is this a different approach for you, or is it just another day at the office?
Nah, it's just another day at the office. It's all the same. We treat every fight like it's a world title fight. The only thing that really changed, we had to hurry up and get our passports in time, because I was the first time flying out of country, and for all of us, so we're like, oh man, we're scrambling to get it, but now we got it and everything is good, man, and we've been training harder than ever for this fight, so we're ready to go.
Now, your trainer, Mike Nolan, it says that you always prepare like it's a world title fight, and I don't know if he's instrumental in some of your career decisions in terms of fights and stuff, but I got to tell you that after doing some research on you and stuff, you guys have moved your career exactly how I say fighters should be moved. And you've progressively increased your level of opposition. I look at your fight resume, so to speak, as a pro. Of your 13 wins, I'm sure you know all of this, but I just want to let all of our fans know that of your 13 wins, only 4 of those fights were against fighters with a 500 or below record, and 2 of those 4 were 0-1 guys in your first 2 fights. I mean, that is very impressive to me that you are doing what I call old school movement, which is going to help you in the future. Does Mike help you with that? Is that something that just happened to happen, or are you guys progressively increasing your level of opposition to make you a better fighter?
Absolutely, man. I'm glad that you recognize that, and a lot of people don't notice that. But yeah, that is something that we've talked about since the beginning. How we didn't want the easy route, like a lot of these other guys would rather take. We want to progressively move up in competition, and not necessarily like hardcore crazy fights, but gradually move up in the guys that we're fighting, because that really is the championship route. That's how you constantly improve, and there's no surprises when you get to the top, because you gradually work your way up. A lot of these guys, they'll fight a bunch of guys that are nobody's easy fights, and then they got to fight someone that's for real, and it's a huge jump in competition, and they're not prepared for it, not mentally or physically, but mainly mentally, because there's a lot of things you learn in tough fights. So that's pretty much how we approach it and how we would bring it along, and that's why we're fighting this undefeated guy now.
I applaud you guys for that, and I'll tell you what, it's going to help you in your career down the road, because what you just said is so true. You know, these fighters, and a lot of it isn't even the fighter's fault. It's the management and the people around them. They're so afraid of putting them in too tough that they never give them a chance to get better. You know, I use this accolade all the time. You know, if I don't know if you follow other sports, but if a football team, the best football team, plays the worst team for the whole season and goes undefeated, are they really the best football team? You know, I mean, exactly. You know, and that's similar in boxing, and you see it all of a sudden. You know, the younger fan looks at records and they say, oh, he's got to be good because, you know, he's undefeated. But they're not even looking at who he's fought. People we've never heard of. People that fought one time just to give him that win, and you know, they're back selling ice cream, you know?
Yes, exactly. It's almost like a false sense of confidence in a way, you know. You always have to be on edge almost. Every fight you have to be like, okay, you have to get pumped up. You don't want to know you're going to go in there and just wipe this guy out easily. You want that sense of danger almost, and that's going to keep you on point in your training. Well, you know, I guess they're going to have to get somebody at some point that's going to give you some kind of test, because you're blowing by people. I mean, of your 13 wins, 12 of them are coming by knockout, and like I said earlier, I mean, you're not beating up the normal slugs. I mean, you got, you know, some good opposition that you've taken care of. Victor Fonseca is good. Abraham Alvarez, Patrick Boozer, a very tough fighter, and your last fight against Ramon Ayala was another good one. You know, when people just look at the records with you and your upcoming opponent in a couple of weeks, David Grayton, he's undefeated as well. But this kid, and I'm not trying to pump up your confidence, because you can never take, and I'm sure Mike has told you this a million times, you can never take anybody lightly. But this guy has not faced the level of opposition you have. Has that been brought up at all during your preparation for this fight? Oh, man, absolutely. It's been brought up. You know, that's what we said from the get-go. You know, we heard this guy, he said he's going to knock me out, this and that. And it's like, okay, I just kind of laughed about it. But it's like, you're going to jump up and knock me out, but I mean, who have you even fought to this point? You know, I mean, it's cool that they're supposed to say that. They're supposed to think that to build them self-confidence, but it's like we've been building ourselves up for this kind of fight. He's been kind of picking and choosing his way up, and now he's doing the huge jump like we talked about. And I believe that's going to be a big factor in this fight. You know, it's not going to be the same as all these other guys that he just goes in there and they just lay down for him with no skill level. You know, I've been in there with guys that have similar styles that are very tough. Like you said, Patrick Boozer, he's another southpaw. He beat a bunch of undefeated guys, and the fights that he did lose, it was against other undefeated fighters that were like split decision losses. You know, that could have been a robbery. Who knows? You know, that guy was tough, and I've been in there with guys like Victor Fonseca. I've learned a lot from fights like that. That guy was super tough, man, and I learned how to control myself and pace myself. And there's just a lot of things that you learn in the tougher fights that you just don't get wiping guys out easily that are so far below your level.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we definitely brought that up.
And that's great, because that is what makes a good fighter better. You have to test yourself. You have to check. After the fight, you and Mike sit down and you say, "Okay, look, let's watch some film. You did this great, but look, see where you're doing this and that. You need to improve." And then if you struggle a little bit, you know that level guy is the same level you got to get the next time out until you can dominate. A lot of these young fighters don't do that, and then their career, once they get that title shot, they don't go on. You're positioning yourself to make a run at a title, to get your shot, and then keep it for a while. And that's what I applaud, and I hope that the young fans following you do see this, and I'm afraid that a lot of them don't. A lot of them have been bought. They buy into the smokescreen that boxing has become, and you're a breath of fresh air to see what I call a throwback fighter in terms of your outlook and preparation. I got a chat room going on right now live, and we got some people wanting me to ask you a couple of questions. First and foremost, a common question is, what you fought Errol Spence in the amateurs. What did you get away from that, and do you feel that you're on a collision course with him in the pros?
Yes, absolutely. We are on a collision course. With Errol Spence, also Sammy Vasquez, we fought as well. Me and Errol Spence, we had great fights in the amateurs. You can ask him himself, who is his toughest competition in the amateurs? And he'll tell you, Brian Perella. That guy's the toughest guy I ever fought. And same here, he's the toughest competition I had. We had a great rivalry in the amateurs. Really, really tough fights, where he got the nod in close decision fights. He was more so the favorite at the time, for the Olympian status. But it was great fights, man. And since then I've improved tremendously, and I know he's improved as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how our styles play out against each other in the pros with the 8-ounce gloves and no headgear.
Speaking of your style, for any of my viewers and listeners right now that have never seen you fight, how would you describe your own style?
It's hard to really put a finger on my style, because really my coach and I, we look at it like we don't really want to have a certain style. We more so just try to adapt and adjust to whatever is going on in the ring. We could fight on the outside, we could fight on the inside, we can counterpunch, we can push the pace and go forward, whatever we have to do to get the victory. But, it'd be more so of a boxer, puncher, real strong, fast, and try to be the best boxer I can be, boxing IQ-wise, skill-wise. But definitely one of the main strengths that I have is my strength and my power. That's the intangible that a lot of guys, it seems to be hard for them to get around.
My man Coach in the chat room wants to know if you still wear a suit going into the ring.
You know it. There'll be another one coming out.
All right. See, our viewers and listeners, even they know who you are, man. You can't stay
awesome,
hidden. You can't stay hidden anymore. Another question geared towards you and your trainer, Mike. He made a statement in the press the other day where he said that June 4th is basically going to be the official night where you put the boxing world on notice. And, I agree with Mikey on that one. But my question is, once that happens, once the secret is out and, people get to see, Goodfellow Perella on TV, on a PBC card and all of that stuff, are you going to, I hope that you stay the same course. Are you going to continue to, try to get better and increase your level of opposition, or are you going to, I know this is a trick question because you can't answer, but, the truth of the matter is you're not going to, sit around and wait for that shot, right? I mean, because, you've come such a long way. I mean, it would be silly to kick it to the curb now, right?
Oh, absolutely, man. We've talked about that as well. I see the mistakes that a lot of other past fighters do. They're hungry to get noticed and get recognition, and once they do and they get a little money, then they're just like, they just become complacent.
Yep.
But really, our vision is beyond that. It's beyond all the material things. It's beyond even the recognition. We want to be, reigning world champion in multiple divisions. So in order to do that, you can't lose focus no matter what. it's tunnel vision, and we have a goal and a vision in mind, and we're not going to stop until, that becomes into fruition.
Well, that's important, and hopefully I'll get to meet you in person. I'm down in Florida a lot. We're actually coordinating, possibly doing a show down there at the end of September, so I'll make sure we reach out and get a hold of you. Okay. Now, from what I understand, you hired a cook for this training camp. You think he could whip me up a few dinners and send them to New York or what?
I'm sure he could figure something out.
Yeah. So
I try to do whatever I could, to gain the little edge. Every single camp, for every fight, we're always looking to see what can I do to better myself, to improve. Always searching for something, constantly. And I figured that's something that, would definitely help a lot. I figured, and I feel that has been helping big time, because before that, it's been kind of trying to whip up my own stuff, and I'm not the best chef in the world, so, I'll just do what I can. But with this, it helps a lot. Not only that, the meals are already packaged for me and stuff, so all I got to do is heat them up and eat it, and it's very, very time-saving. So I can just go from one workout to the next without having to stop and get the meal done and all that stuff. So it's really a blessing, man. I'm happy that I did it.
Well, if I was cooking for you, my man, you'd be in the heavyweight division. You'd be eating lasagna, cannolis, you'd be like, oh, yeah, it's great for you, man. There's all good stuff in there,
Yeah.
But anyway, hey, listen.
Go fight Klitschko.
There you go. I know. You might feel a little sluggish, but, I really wish you all the luck in the world on your upcoming fight. You know that we're going to be watching you, and I hope that you can come back on a regular basis. I love following young fighters right on up through. You just got to make me a promise right now on air that when you become rich and famous, you're not going to forget about the Billy C Show.
No, I won't forget about you, man. I actually love this. You seem to have a lot of boxing knowledge, man. You definitely know what you're talking about. So this is one of my more enjoyable interviews thus far. So I won't forget about you.
Sounds good, man. I'll put the pressure on Matt. So we'll make sure that he can reach out to you and get you on again. I'd love to talk to you actually after your win on June 4th in Montreal, because I feel very confident about you and your team, and I'm looking forward to this ride, man. Because I think you guys are a breath of fresh air in the sport of boxing, and I wish more younger fighters followed your path than the path they seem to be following.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that, man. Especially for recognizing all this.
Hey, I pick up a few things for being in the business after 35 years, so... if I didn't, I'd be pretty stupid, right? But anyway, listen, my man...
You'd be surprised, man.
Oh, no, I would not be surprised. Yeah. And when I meet you in person, we could have a chat, But anyway, listen, again, I wish you guys luck. Keep us posted, and we'd love to have you back, all right?
All right, man. I can't wait to be on again.
All right, brother. Good luck, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank you. Take care.
That's Bryant Goodfella Perella. Tell me this kid is in a breath of fresh air for the sport of boxing, right? I mean, come on, man. Punch him up. Punch him up on BoxRec and see what I'm talking about. His first two fights are against 0-1 guys. His first two pro fights. Here's an 0-0 guy against an 0-1 guy, and then a 1-0 guy against an 0-1 guy. That's totally cool. There's no problem with that. And then watch the progression of his fight. I mean, the only guy with a losing record that he fought was a 4-8-2 guy. After he had like 6 fights, which is also very acceptable. From that point on, he's fighting all decent opposition, especially the fighters that I mentioned earlier. So this guy's the real deal. He's a good fella, Perella. I think he's the real deal, Perella. But anyway, make sure you watch him. He's going to be on ESPN on a PBC show coming at us from the Bell Center in Montreal. He's out of Fort Myers, Florida, which. I love going down there, and hopefully our paths can cross when I go down in a few months, I guess. I don't know. I'd be down there right now if I could, maybe it's a little too hot for me. I don't know. Hey, listen, man, don't forget, tomorrow we're going to have the phone lines open, and Sal and I will be chatting with ourselves, and we'll open up the phone lines and let you guys give your thoughts. It's Fan Driven Friday. So make sure you tune in for that. Until then, I want to leave you guys with this. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow morning. Same bad time, same bad channel. Until then, ciao, baby.